What's up, Laker fans? You know who it is. It's your boy Urban coming from your mama's basement, baby. And I want to bring to y'all something that's been on my mind. I made a couple of videos with DeMar DeRozan. I made one with free agency and where he's going, and I also made one. You know, do the Lakers really need him? Something like that. Or something similar to that. And as I scroll through Twitter and looking at other people's videos and channels and stuff like that, I see Laker fans still want DeMar DeRozan. So now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make you mentally think, because some players, or well, some fans are more focused on the person's name, because he averaged 25 points. Yeah, this is a good guy. He could, this is what the Lakers need. I'm gonna hit you with something. I want you to think about this. All right, the Lakers are down by, let's see, 3 points, right? 5 seconds on the clock. So based on that alone, do you go to DeMar DeRozan or do you go to Jordan Clarkson? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because number one, I'm not taking nothing away from DeMar DeRozan and his skill set. The only problem is, like I said before, he's not comfortable hitting the three. He's more of a 2 point specialist. Now he can get his shot off. He can do a lot of things, scoring, inside the 15 footer. You know what I mean, but not outside the arc. He's not comfortable shooting outside arc. If you look at his stats, he doesn't take a lot of threes. And in this day and era, the way that the NBA is going, as you see, with Golden State playing Cleveland, most teams are shooting like 25 to 33s. Me personally, that's crazy. I wouldn't shoot that many, but hey, it's a new time, a new era. I got to get with the times. Back in the old days, the average player would take no more than 3 to 5 threes a game. Now they're taking like anywhere from 10 to 15 threes a game. So with that being said, DeMar DeRozan is more of your old style type of ball player. Like back in the 80s, this dude would have been freaking awesome. He easily averaged 30 points. And I'm being real. At his height, you know what I mean? But now, this new day and era, you need him to be a more polished player. This is the main reason why I say I wouldn't spend no max money on DeMar DeRozan, because you get the same quality out of Jordan Clarkson. The exact same quality. The only difference is that he's a couple inches shorter than DeMar DeRozan. They both can't play defense. They kind of like wishy-woo on defense. You know what I mean? They both can score inside. Both are finished pretty good around the rim. They both can get their own shots off. They both can hit set shots. So it's basically the same exact character. I mean, player. The only difference is that Jordan Clarkson is more efficient when it comes to banging the three. His game, if you watch his game this season, he took more threes. Besides towards the end when not Jordan. I'm sorry. Before Kobe and Lou Williams came back. When Kobe and Lou Williams came back, he took, his 3 point percentage fell off. Him, D'Angelo Russell, and Randall. And I already made a video, saying something about that. These guys, I think they just kind of like just let Kobe do his thing and just like, you know what, we'll worry about next season. But Jordan Clarkson took more threes this year. His 3 point percentage was pretty decent, and he's not scared to take the big shots. Now, the only thing about it, like I said at the end of the day, is that, to me, when the game is on the line, and I told people over and over again, Lowry is more of the focal point up there in Toronto. He's the big game changer. He's the one that's going to take the big shots. Not DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, sometimes when he's having a bad game, he's really out of sync. He doesn't even show up. There's games where he only scores 7 points just without a zinc. And remember, this is the number 2 option, where Jordan Clarkson is like, playing behind Kobe. He was only taking, like I said before, 13 to 15 shots a game, where DeMar DeRozan was taking anywhere from 15 to 18 shots a game, and he's the number 2 option. Where Jordan Clarkson was like in between the 3 or the 2 or 3 or 4 option, depending on whatever Byron Scott runs. And with that Byron Scott offense, as you can see, it was mostly ISO plays. So it was mostly directed to Kobe to help Kobe out. Now, like I said before, I don't knock DeMar DeRozan games, so please make sure you guys understand that. I'm just saying he does not fit Luke Walton's system. If you go back and watch Golden State offense, like I said before, it's triangle motion offense, where the 3 ball being the big gunner for that team. If you watch Golden State game, they win or die by the 3. They're going to shoot threes. I don't care if they're down by 3 points or 2 points. They're going to shoot that 3. That's their game plan. So if he's saying that I'm bringing that same offense to LA, what make you think in your mind that DeMar DeRozan is going to fit his scheme? like I said, DeMar DeRozan do not bang the three. DeMar DeRozan will be like Kevin Love out there in Cleveland. Kevin Love in Minnesota, he was the focal point, averaging 20 plus points, 10 plus boards. He goes out in Cleveland. Now he's a lost thought. Nobody even thinks about Kevin Love. It's more like Kevin Love only fits their scheme. And he's like wasted talent in Cleveland. And I'd like to see him go somewhere else where his talent can be used. I just don't think he fit the scheme. Like, you can have a top name player on your team, but that doesn't mean he's going to do the exact same thing he did in the previous team that he was with. Because if he don't fit that scheme, it's basically bad on him. So, me personally, like I said before, this is the main reason why I said that Jordan Clarkson will be better than DeMar DeRozan. And when it comes to the game on the line and we need that three, we got to go to a player that we can expect to take that shot. DeMar DeRozan is not comfortable taking the three. So what we're going to do, take a two and lose by a point, or try to take the three and win it, or tie it up based on the outcome of, what we got to put it, what we need. Like, if we need 3 points and it's 5 minutes on the clock, 5 seconds on the clock, we got to hit the three to tie. You can go inside and try to foul real quick, but then, you only got, depending on how many timeouts you have, all that goes into play. So with me personally, like I said, Jordan Clarkson, remember, this is only his real full season. This previous season just passed. The season before that, he ain't played that many games. He came like after the All-Star break. So this is like his real full season to get to play, and still he played behind Kobe. You know what I mean? So now you get to see Jordan Clarkson without no Kobe distraction or Byron Scott distraction this year. So that's the main reason why I say that I will go with Jordan Clarkson over DeMar DeRozan, only because he fits Luke Walton's system to a T. You know what I mean? And it'd be kind of crazy for us to go get DeMar DeRozan when we got the same player in Jordan Clarkson. I can't keep stressing this enough, but I'm just watching, and I'm constantly like, it's like fans, like, y'all guys are not seeing this. It's like y'all just so focused on, he scored 25 points. He's doing good in Toronto. But it will hurt our team because he cannot space the floor. He's nothing but another Julius Randle. All them guys are shooting inside the paint. Think about it, you got DeMar DeRozan, Julius Randle, and if we get Whiteside, we got all three of these guys covering the inside of that 15-footer. And Larry Nance when he come in there. So we got all these guys inside, and that's too much. And that's one of the biggest problems with Toronto. Toronto, like I said, they need another shooter. DeMar DeRozan is good, but they need somebody. They need a sharpshooter. To help them, man, to spread the floor more. This is why Golden State is so good, because all four of their players, and when they go small ball, all five of their players can bang the three. And I'm not saying that you got to hit the three every game, but it spreads the floor, and it makes more pick and roll more dangerous, because now you got to play more common defense. You can't really go zone on these guys because they can bang the three. The zone was basically meant for players like Jordan, Kobe, and all them two-shot players, the ones that come inside the 15-footer to bang jump shots. So if somebody is a weak defender, that zone defense can help prevent them from getting an easy layup or taking a jump shot. But Kobe is so sufficient with his jump shot that he can bang outside and inside. So it's hard to play him. Now, Jordan on a different aspect, and I'm getting off topic, but that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, like, with Jordan aspect, going back to him, he wasn't really a three-point specialist. He was more of a two-point specialist, but he was quick on his feet, and he know how to finish real good around the rim. And DeMar DeRozan is pretty good too. But here comes the thing, like, what I pay a guy $25 million, and he's lacking defense, the same thing that Jordan Clarkson is doing. I can get Jordan Clarkson for lesser money, who give me the same skill set, but he can bang an outside three. And that's why I want you guys to understand, not taking nothing away from DeMar DeRozan, but at the end of the day, guys, yeah, we got 60+ mil on the table and stuff like that, but let's be a little bit more smart about our decision making. Like, why go get another player, another max 25 player that's just like Jordan Clarkson, where we can play Jordan Clarkson lesser money and get a bunch of role players that'll fit in to help us win? You know what I mean? You don't always got to go for the big name players to make things happen. Look at Cleveland, for example. They got Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James. You know what I mean? They spent a lot of money last year keeping all them guys together. And look at them. They're on the brink of getting beat up by a team who got a bunch of role players smacking them. Yeah, I say role players because if you think about it, Steph Curry only had 2 good games this season. This playoff in this series. 2 good games. You having role players step up and win and doing their thing. And that's what I'm trying to tell guys. You don't need to go out and spend all that money on big name players. You don't really need a KD. Why go get KD when if you're going to get Brandon Ingram? That's, to me, is the most stupid. Then what, Brandon Ingram sits on the bench? He's a number 2 pick. He's not a number 2 pick for nothing unless he's a bust. But how will you know if he's a bust if he don't get no playing time? You know what I'm saying? So no, like I said, I would get a mentor. Like I like Meta World Peace. You know, he's a good mentor for the team. He brings defense intensity to the team, and that's what we need. So I wouldn't go out and get players when I got the same player skill set on my team. That's just stupid. So I'm gonna go get DeMar DeRozan and Jordan Clarkson come off the bench. And a lot of people say, well, Jordan Clarkson, you know, he come off the bench, blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't mind if he come off the bench and start, but me personally, I'd rather see him starting. You know what I mean? In that sense alone, like I said, I wouldn't waste my money on DeMar DeRozan. Hey, at the end of the day, guys, you can hate me all you want, but I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to look at it from a bigger picture. Why spend that money on a man who give you the same skill set as somebody that's already on it, that somebody that's not already on the team? They just got to resign him. He's an unrestricted free agent. But why? Why would I waste my money on somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? Like in that system, like I said, in Luke Walt's system, he just doesn't fit it. I mean, guys, you got to be, be more, you got to be more understanding here. You know what I mean? Like, just don't want a person because of their name. You know what I mean? Or they scoring 25 points. Because like I said, he can end up just like another Kevin Love. Be on a team where now they can't utilize the skill set because, the way Luke Walton run his system is more of a three-point place game. And it's going to affect his game because he's more of a 2-point specialist. He's not a 3-point specialist. Now, if the guy work on his threes and become more comfortable with it, that's a different story. But, that means that we have to wait and see what he brings to the table. And right now, we already got Jordan Clarkson, so why? You know what I mean? Like, why? You know what I mean? My main thing, like I said before, Whiteside, Noah, and who's that guy? Oh, Horford in that order. That'd be my main targets. I wouldn't really go after DeMar DeRozan. And plus, on top of that, I don't really think he's coming here. It'd be kind of crazy for him to come, even though he's from LA. His team, like I said, that close to getting to the finals. Why would I run to LA, where I'm on a rebuilding core, when I can actually go somewhere where I know for a fact that I'm making a playoff every year, and one day I might have a chance to make the finals. Not saying they're going to win, but they're not far from getting there. LeBron is not going to be around for long. I mean, the guy's 30-something years old, and he's getting Father Time's catching up with him. So eventually somebody's going to take over that East, and right now the East to me is weak. I mean, it was proven during the playoffs. Miami and freaking Cleveland's probably the best teams out there. And the only why Miami hurt because Bosh and Whiteside. But they're the best two teams that's in the East. So me personally, like I said, at the end of the day, when the game is on the line, I would rather have Jordan Clarkson over DeMar DeRozan. If you guys disagree, hey, it's your opinion. But like I said, I'm a winner. I don't believe in just picking up players just for the heck of it. Back then, yeah, I was all hyped this and that when I was younger. But now I'm older, man, and I'm much wiser. And I'm not saying that you guys are. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking from a more logical, standpoint position. Like, who would I rather have when the game is on the line? I done watched Toronto games, and I done seen where DeMar DeRozan fade away. And it was always Kyle Lowry, controlling the offense, scoring, this and that. And I've seen games where, like I said, DeMar DeRozan went 3 for 7, not 3 for 7, I'm sorry, like 1 for 9 or something like that. 7 points, and then he just basically was like a ghost, like he wasn't even on the court. Even though he was on the court, but he was like, he was passing up shots, like he lost his confidence. So, me personally, I'd rather want somebody that got the killer instinct that want to win. Like I said, Jordan Clarkson's still young. DeMar DeRozan's been in the league for a little bit now. Jordan Clarkson's still young. He's still learning. His roof is still high. And at the end of the day, you're only going to see better things to come from him. I'm a big Jordan Clarkson fan. He won me over last year, the previous year. When he came after the All-Star break, I watched and I followed him. So in that being said, this your boy Urban. I love you guys. Like I said, get in the comment section and let me know what you think. DeRozan or Jordan Clarkson, who would you rather have the ball in when the game is on the line? You down by 3 or down by 2, depending on the outcome of the game. So at the end of the day, let me know, brothers. That's the whole point about making these videos, to see what you guys got to say, and let's have a beautiful conversation. Nothing disrespectful. So far I appreciate you guys not being disrespectful in the conversation beside that San Antonio Spurs guy. But it's all good, man. But like I said, at the end of the day, man, it's your man Urban. Love you guys. I'm out.